QDL. QDL is your look at who and what is making news in the world of quality. I'm Dirk Descharme, Editor-in-Chief for Quality Digest, and we are at the Hexagon Live Show in Las Vegas, and with me right now is Milan Kocic, head of the Sixth Sense program, and another guest that we'll get to in just a little bit. Sixth Sense is a startup program that Hexagon started about a year and a half ago. It's sort of a 10-week pseudo-accelerator program where Hexagon works with startups that are a good fit with Hexagon's business. Milan, what are you trying to do in those 10 weeks?
We try to get to a place where during those 10 weeks, we define better how can us and a startup create something that creates even bigger value for the customer. And Youssef will give you a little bit more of story as to how that works between Hexagon and GelSight. But the idea here is they have a tech, we have a customer, we have the tech. Can we combine all those things in order to take the startup and help them scale? So there's no necessarily an investment or financial reward, but there is exposure to customers and ability to try to build a scalable business.
And are you looking for any kind of company, or are they, I don't know, I think I read something on your website, support smart, sustainable manufacturing. I mean, they've got to somehow tie into that?
Our current focus is advanced manufacturing for cohorts, so anything that Manufacturing Intelligence Division covers. So you spread it from design to production to quality, so they kind of fall into the quality, but they could also fall into design and production, so it's not necessarily a singular thing. And then we look for companies that are not early stage. We did early stage in cohort 1 and realized we don't necessarily have a way to support them well. So we do kind of companies that are post-seed, seed A, so the companies that have existence, have some customers, but they're at a stage where you know they're about to take off, and hopefully we can take off together.
So Milan, cohort 2 finished. Where are we at with that, and who's your guest today?
Sure. Cohort 2 finished in February of this year in The Hague. We had a final demo day where we selected the winner, and the winner is right next to me, which is Youssef Benmokhtar from GelSight, and we had a runner-up, which is also back in the zone, called Castor from Israel. Okay. And these guys are out of Boston, but probably the best thing to tell you as to why they won is that if Youssef tells you about it.
Okay, Youssef, tell me about GelSight. What do you guys make?
Yes, so thank you for having me. At GelSight, we basically invented the world's first digital imaging-based tactile sensor. Sounds fancy, but at the end of the day, in the world that we live in with Hexagon, it's all about using tactile sensing to measure textures at micron scale. We have basically this material that we've invented that looks like artificial skin. We illuminate that with some LED light, we put a camera behind it, and then we measure the deformations of anything that our sensor touches. And then we're basically able to reconstruct a 3D map of that surface and provide very, very fine information about any contact that we make. We're material agnostic. We work on glass, on metals, on textile, on skin, and we also lighting agnostic. We could actually work very fine just with the bright lights here in front of our eyes or in complete darkness. Why Hexagon and why the partnership? We actually combined our technology with a Hexagon portable arm. So our technology is really great at measuring defects or geometries, but we don't know where we're measuring things. So when we mount it on a portable arm, for example, now we can leverage its capabilities to provide global and local coordinates, so we know exactly where we've measured, and then we can transfer the results of our measurement into Hexagon software and on the CAD of the part of interest. And this is exactly what our mutual customers have been asking for.
So I want to back up a little bit because something you said seems kind of like at odds. It sounded like you said like a vision-based tactile sensor. So vision, which doesn't touch anything, tactile, which does touch something. Just explain that really briefly, what's going on there, because it doesn't...
Great question. It comes back to the genesis of the company. One of our co-founders, a professor at MIT, was a human vision expert. But when his daughter was born, he actually noticed, to his surprise and demise to some extent, that actually infants don't interact with the world through their eyes for the first few weeks of life. They interact with the world with their hands. If you really, look at a baby, just a newborn baby, they touch everything. They touch their mother, they touch any object, and so on. So he was fascinated by that, and he had that kind of a Isaac Newton moment to say, but is there any sensor that kind of mimic human touch and feel? And even at MIT, as bright as they could be, they didn't have that. So he invented it. But being a vision guy, he thought that the best way to provide a signal that we can actually use was actually to make it vision-based. So he basically invented this gel-like material that acts like skin. It's elastic, it's soft, but it also protects the system from any external factors like lighting, for example. And he illuminated that with some light and put a camera behind it, and GelSight was born.
Wow. And what kind of resolution or accuracy do you get with the tactile part of it?
We're in the micron scale domain. Our latest product, actually, we released just a few weeks ago, goes down to 0.2 micron, profile roughness or surface roughness measurement capabilities. Okay. Our Z performance is 0.3 micron on that product. So it's we're in the hundreds of nanometers now. Right. That's how good the technology is.
So I'd asked Milan earlier what Hexagon gets out of working with startups like this. What do you guys get out of them? What was your motivation for trying to apply to Sixth Sense and hopefully be chosen?
Well, initially when we joined, it kind of made sense. Hexagon is a very big player in metrology. That's the market that we're in. At high level, we thought, well, there might be something there, and then if we can find what those synergies are, then it's going to benefit both parties. Going through the 10-week program actually made us realize that it was the right decision to make, and it was much bigger than what we anticipated. It was also a lot bigger in terms of work, because Milan tells you it's just 1 hour here and there. It's not. It's a lot of work, but through that work, you actually realize a lot about yourself as a CEO, and I think my team that participated also benefited from that. We grew, we're better persons, we're better in our jobs thanks to the resources that Sixth Sense has put to our disposal during the program. But also, most importantly, we had a better understanding of the market. We actually went to our customers and said, hey, do you care about this combined solution? It's not a question we were asking. And the answer we got overwhelmingly was, yes, we care about that. Can we see it? And we actually even had the luxury to be able to mention Safran landing gear systems from our Montreal location saying, we sponsor this, we want this as soon as possible. So we had market validation, we had support from Hexagon in terms of pushing us to be a better company. And then once we had the win, that I would argue the adventure started. Sixth Sense was more about getting to know each other, getting to know the other companies in the cohort. The real, I would say, development of a partnership with Hexagon started after February 1st.
And so what's going on now? What have you learned from, let's say, working with Youssef and the second cohort that you're taking forward into the third cohort?
Well, now that we're going steady, we can really talk
You guys are
about
sitting pretty close.
That's right. I would say the learning is to focus on a customer value. So the thing that we're missing in a cohort 1 is kind of getting exposure to customers. The thing we've done, we've probably visited half a dozen customers between North America and Europe. And to, I'm sure, Youssef's delight, every customer was like, I want that. Right. They visited 2 customers, one in Canada and one in Europe, that the customer actually ordered one of the units after they left demoing their stuff. Yeah. We have done evaluations of processes where we cut one process from a huge customer from 4 hours to 10 minutes using GelSight grid. So when you look at that, the real goal in the stage that Youssef mentioned is really to get the people at Hexagon to get more excited about this. Right. And I was just doing a talk and I said somebody, we had one of the sales guys for Portable that essentially walked up to us and said, where were you hiding this? Wow. Because they immediately see opportunities that the joint product could generate for both GelSight and Hexagon together in order to go to those customers. So there is a demand and a need for the joint solution to get there. So then the next step is the real hard stuff, right, which is getting something to put together to put it into the marketplace. That's the hard stuff.
Good stuff. Well, Milan, appreciate it. Youssef.
Yes.
Youssef, I'm sorry, I think I pronounced your name wrong before. I apologize for that.
No problem. Just like
I pronounced his name.
It's okay. He's got Kocic, we'll get
yeah,
this.
I kept. All right, guys, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
so much.
Okay.
Thank you.